Oh, we're live. Okay, cool. And we're live. So please introduce yourself.
Yes, hello. Welcome to the Bavarian Research Alliance stand. My name is Gabriela Blumberger, and I'm the project manager of a project called HighFlow. It's a European-funded project from Horizon Europe. And this project is about hybrid storage system, redox flow battery, and supercapacitor technology.
It sounds like very cutting-edge battery systems.
Yes, and the coordinator is Professor Pettinger, and the budget is the total budget is 4 million euros.
And what kind of discussions do you have here at the Nanotexnology conference?
We're talking about proposal writing, what the Bavarian Research Alliance is providing, and many possibilities of proposal writing or support. We support proposal writing.
And please introduce yourself.
Hello, hi, my name is Panayotou. Together with my colleague Gabriele, we are on the booth of HighFlow on the Nanotexnology in Thessaloniki 22, and I'm head of unit for ICT and engineering. And like this, we supported Professor Pettinger from University of Applied Science of Landshut in this project HighFlow, which is dealing on, like Gabriele told, on development of a hybrid storage system. The Bavarian Research Alliance is a governmental financed organization with its stakeholder of the Bavarian University and University of Applied Science of Bavaria, and we are financed as a non-profit organization by this stakeholder, the university and the Bavarian state government, to support the Bavarian researchers from academia and from companies on European projects. And like this, on these European projects, the Bavarian stakeholders needs always international partners, and on this conference and these booths like this, we look for strong and competent partners to bring them together with the Bavarian stakeholders to start, initiate European-funded project like this HighFlow one.
So, what is the HighFlow?
The HighFlow project is a European-funded project and is dealing on the energy storage on the hybrid system between, let's say, a redox flow battery and a supercapacitor. It takes the advantage of both systems, of the battery and the supercapacitor, and put this in one joint system. Like this, you have a high flux of energy, and with a supercapacitor and a high energy storage with a battery systems.
And what do we see behind you on the wall? What is happening here?
Well, this is what we just told. This is about HighFlow, and yes, it tells about the project itself, and then also about the service from the Bavarian Research Alliance.
So there's high interest in getting to the future of energy storage as soon as possible, with partners, with partnerships.
Yes.
And getting things to the next level.
Right.
Yes. In this project, HighFlow, there are already 11 partners of all Europe, with the coordinator of Bavaria, Professor Pettinger, and the Bavarian Research Alliance. And there's additional partners, for example, from the Czech Republic, working on this project, on the high-age development hybrid energy storage system.
And what do we see here on this wall here? Is it
This is another project. This is another European project. It's similar, let's say, to this HighFlow, while HighFlow project is dealing on research and engineering. This TED-Life is another instrument of the European Horizon Europe, where you have the possibility to make a network of PhD students, a doctoral network it's called meanwhile, this funding instrument, and they are funding PhD student can attach and exchange within Europe and make common research. This, once again, is Project TEDLife, coordinated by Mrs. Professor Köhler from the University of Bayreuth. This is a university in the north of Bavaria, and she initiated and coordinated this project with 11 partners and funded with 3.8 million euros.
Do you think the batteries, the cutting edge nanotechnology and stuff to get things to happen is happening fast enough, or can you push it? Can you make it happen faster?
I think if you look now, the European Commission and these initiatives like the European Battery Alliance or the new battery partnership like the BEPA, the Battery European Partnership Association, the Commission in the last 2-3 years made a lot of challenge to push the networks between the researchers around Europe and to make research on batteries and even on other energy storage like hydrogen much faster than, let's say, 10 years ago. So it's fast, but yes, sure, it could be faster for the European community.
And I guess the German auto industry is eager to see things happen faster in this business, huh?
Yes, sure. Now, because we are, the Bavarian Research Alliance is funded by the Bavarian government, I would like to talk about the Bavarian automobile industry, like BMW and like Audi, and they are already tried to distribute or develop cars on battery movement, so they have e-mobility very stuck on, and even the Bavarian government have some, let's say, regional funds to boost battery storage or battery movement.
All right. So anything else we didn't cover you'd like to talk about? Do you have a lot of colleagues in this organization, or?
Yes, we have around 50, I would say. Around 50. We cover all areas.
And do you participate in many events?
Yes, definitely. Of course, there was COVID, so we had a lot of online events, but we visit a lot of events, yes.
All right, cool. So I hope you have fun here at the Nanotexnology conference here. And
maybe I can
discussions.
Thank you. Short about the Bavarian Research Alliance, because this is very nice idea. The Bavarian Research Alliance, funded by the Bavarian government and the Bavarian University, always looking for international strong partners on Horizon Europe project. And this, we would like to get international with international partners and bring them with the Bavarian expertise, where we had a lot of in Bavaria on hydrogen, on battery, on nanotechnology, on health, on environment. There, bring them together.
How would you say the nanotechnology industry has evolved recently? It's been talked about for a long time, and there's more and more things happening, more targeted, more...
Yes, more targeted and not so scientifically like in the last two or three framework program. Now the thematical area like nanotechnology or nanoscience is more implemented in some, let's say, areas like battery storage or hydrogen storage. It's not, it's more integrated. And what we see is now we're going to have much more interdisciplinarity between different areas like biology, health, environment, energy, and nanotechnology. It's very important.
And when I look on this, and it says redox flow battery, supercapacitor technology. What is the redox flow?
Redox flow is let's say, a new generation of battery, different like the lithium-ion battery, and has a big advantage to have a big capacity. And this project likes to, let's say, dissimulate or bring out the disadvantage of a redox battery by attaching the redox flow battery with a supercapacitor, which the supercapacitor is an energy storage system too. Has a possibility, let's say, to forward very fast energy, but has another disadvantage, and this disadvantage of supercapacitor with the disadvantage of the redox battery will be dissimulated by joining this in this project.
And does it work?
Yes.
To put them together?
Yes, yes. Professor Pettinger, the coordinator of University of Landshut, already had some good concepts and ideas.
All right. And the supercapacitor used to be very low energy density maybe, but very fast.
Yes.
And now you can do more and more capacity in them.
Yeah, by attaching them with a redox flow battery, because the redox flow battery has a lot of energy, but slow, can bring out the energy very slow. By attaching them with a supercapacitor, which can bring out the energy very fast, you have advantages of two systems in one development hybrid energy storage system.
Sometimes I heard people dream to recharge the electric car in like 5 seconds, but that's so much power, it's dangerous. You need to take your time to charge it not too fast.
Yeah, 5 seconds is maybe too fast, but 5 minutes it's reasonable. And I think now, even now in the lab, there are possibilities to recharge batteries in 5 minutes. But it's always a question which capacity. 5 minutes of capacity of 1,000 or only 100 kilowatt hours. It depends on the capacity. Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'll put you on a break for a second in the live chat.
by introducing myself and the company.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just go for it?
Yeah. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. My name is Juliana Oliveira. I come from CENTI, which is the Center of Nanotechnology and Smart Materials. We are located in Famalicão, in the north of Portugal. We are a non-profit research center. We are dedicated to nanotechnology and technology transfer towards the industry. We are here in the Nanotexnology conference for the dissemination of Biomat. Biomat is an European project that's being coordinated by CENTI. I'm the representative of the coordinating team. Biomat has the goal to establish an open innovation testbed for the production of nano-enabled bio-based polyurethane foams and composites for the 5 top markets with the highest requirements of for these materials, which is building and construction, automotive, and furniture embedding. Our consortium is built of 26 partners, and we came together to explore sustainable alternatives for the production of bio-based foams. So our goal is to take renewable resources or low-value residues from industries such as agricultural and forest industries and use them to extract components, bio-based components, for the production of foams. So placing high emphasis on sustainability, circularity, and renewable resources, and then use those bio-based components to produce foams, and then apply them to products such as mattresses, seat cushions, insulation panels, for example.
Is it what you illustrate here?
So here you have some of the raw materials that we use to extract the products. So here you have different types of rice husks that we use to extract silica, bio-based silica that we use as nanofillers to improve the mechanical properties of the bio-based foams. So as part of Biomat, we aim to establish, as I said, an open innovation testbed. Our catalog of services will be quite polyvalent. We will have 12 pilot lines dedicated to the pilot scale production of components and foams, and as well as a range of horizontal support services such as LCA and LCC development and establishment, and product characterization, sorry. Can you start?
Yeah, we can cut it. It's live, but it's okay.
It's live. Sorry, I was on a roll and then not anymore.
But,
tell me.
So these materials are in billions and billions of products.
Yes.
Eventually, and that's the market. That's the target.
Yes, because nowadays all polyurethane foams are produced using non-renewable resources, so petroleum-based products. Our goal is to reduce the non-renewable raw materials and substitute them with bio-based materials. That's one of the main focuses of Biomat. We are upgrading pilot lines to substitute the petroleum-based materials that we don't want to use anymore because they're non-renewable, and substitute them with bio-based materials to start implementing this innovation at an industrial scale and motivate the uptake of this innovative technologies at an industrial scale. These materials have the ability to be functionalized with appealing properties. So, for example, the nanobio-based silica can be functionalized to provide added properties such as flame retardancy. For example, here you have a textile that is non-functionalized, so you can see that it was burned quite heavily, and here you have an example of a textile that was functionalized with flame retardant silica particles, and you can see there's quite a difference between the amount of textile that was actually burnt and this one that did not. So one of the functionalities that we are exploring is flame retardancy. The other two that we also are exploring is hydrophobicity and antimicrobial properties. For example, if you have a seat cushion or a mattress with antimicrobial properties, can be quite appealing. And while in Biomat, while upgrading these pilot lines to the production, we aim to disseminate them and make them like current practice within the polyurethane sector. As one of the measures of implementation of the project is also the development, the launch of an open tender, which will be launched at the end of this year, and it will be appealing to SMEs, for example, that will be able to profit free of charge of all of the services that we'll have available in our OITB, just by applying to the open calls within the open tender of our OITB. So it will be good for the SMEs that will be able to provide profit from free of charge services, and it will also be good for us as an OITB that will be able to validate and check that all of our products are okay and perfect to go to the next level of industrialization. More questions?
Is there a lot of industrialization of nanomaterials or these kinds of materials? Is it just a continuation of what's been happening the last 100 years, or is a brand new way of looking at things?
Well, the nanotechnology sector has been growing continuously and exponentially for the last few decades. But right now, the focus is on improving the sustainability of those processes, and that is where Biomat and, of course, many other projects and processes are being geared towards. To improve the sustainability and towards, of course, the environment-friendly processes associated with nanotechnology.
Is it just working in chemistry, or is it? What are the experts in this field? What do they know?
Okay, you have to think of this as a matter of scale, because you have the developments on a lab scale. And then as you progress in the scale, up to pilot scale and then up to industrial scale, the requirements are different. You establish the chemistry of it all at the lab scale, and then the requirements as you progress in scale start being different. You have to maintain the chemical requirements while satisfying the upgrade of the technology, and then you have other requirements that are regarding for example, the reactors. Then you have the engineering, and then other sectors come into play to guarantee the success of the processes.
Because when you say test bed,
yes,
it sounds like a laboratory. It sounds like where you test.
Test bed, it's quite a new concept. It was a concept that was introduced by the European Commission. An open innovation test bed is a number of entities that come together to provide a number of services, and again.
So when the parts combine, more comes out.
I was missing to provide access to facilities. That's the thing. Because if you think that an SME, for example, they might not always have easy access to a pilot scale reactor for the production, or they might not have the knowledge required for the scientific development, and that's where the OITB comes to help, so to speak. So the OITB is a group of entities that come together to provide access to those services, so to provide transfer technology and access to pilot scale facilities that otherwise might not have been easy to access to a small entity, as an SME, for example. So these groups of entities come together within a theme, a scope of research. In the case of Biomat is bio-based nano-enabled polyurethane foams, but you can find many others. And the different entities with different levels of knowledge and technology will cooperate and collaborate to provide that service to another entity, such as an SME. And then as we gather the different services and within the catalog that we'll have available in an OITB, we can then disseminate the innovation and the uptake of this new technologies that are the aim of the OITBs.
Because you really want to go from test bed to mass market.
Yes. So this is a way to validate the technology. Okay. So in the scope of, for example, in Biomat, we are able to provide services throughout the entire value chain of the polyurethane. So starting from the basic components, polyols, nanofillers, different components, throughout the entire value chain up to the final product. And we can do that from lab scale, validation of technology, up to the pilot scale production, and even in some cases, depending on the scale of the pilot line, even industrial scale. And then we can transfer that knowledge up to SMEs that can then implement them in their own facilities, in their own companies, and improve their services, making them more sustainable, more renewable, and more in line with the circularity of today's economy.
And it's working all over Europe?
Yes. So Biomat is a European project. We have 26 partners from all over Europe, and we will be able to provide services to SMEs all over Europe. Yes.
And the discussions you have here in the Nanotexnology conference,
yeah.
There's students, there's startups,
yes,
there's professors, there's all kinds, right?
Yeah. Well, we didn't have the opportunity to discuss a lot because we arrived late yesterday. But the idea to disseminate Biomat in this environment is, of course, provide our knowledge and our developments, and also learn and absorb all the great developments that are occurring within the nanotechnology in the last year that's being showcased here in the conference. All discussions are very profitable, and we hope to contribute also for the future of the young researchers here during
this week. It's nice to come to conference with real people.
Indeed, very much so. So actually, Biomat is already at its 18 month, and last year we had our first in-person event. So yes, it's great to be back in person to share developments and share ideas face to face. It's a great new thing since the past couple of years in lockdown and talking to people through screens just like now.
And right there behind you it says biomattestbed.eu.
Yes, it's our website. We'll we keep it up to date. We'll please visit. We have the catalog of services that we'll have available on our ITB, all of the current developments, the information on all of the partners on our consortium, the objectives and the description of our project. And soon, with the launch of our open tender, it will be through there that you'll be able to apply to the different open calls. We can't wait to receive all of your requests.
And on the video there,
Yeah.
What kind of illustration are you showing? Can you tilt it a little bit to the camera like this?
So right now, we this is a video of the technologies. More.
Yeah, perfect, like this.
Right now, you can see a video of the technologies that we currently have at Senti. Senti is one of the. We are divided into 5 different areas. So smart materials, smart fibers, functional materials. I'm missing one. Never mind that. So, please just cut that part. It's a bit of a demonstration of the different technologies that we have indoors. So for the electronics and smart fabrication, also smart coating, and the development of different materials. If you want to know more about Senti and our technologies, also you're welcome to visit our website. It's www.senti.pt. You'll have there a description of all of our ongoing projects and all of our capacities and technologies. We'll be happy to...
And where is it in Portugal?
So it's in Famalicão, which is in the north of Portugal, half an hour away from Porto, if you know it.
All right.
Perfect.
So a lot of cool stuff happening over there.
Yeah.
All right. So
What do you think?
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. What do you think?
Thanks. That was cool. All right. Thanks.
Me? I think you.
Right here. Yeah. Something we forgot to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I talked way more than I thought I would.
Cool. So in live chat, I put you in a break for a second. 1 second.
Okay.
And we are back. All right. So please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Johan Timon. I'm assistant professor in Toulouse University Paul Sabatier. I'm working in Ceramic laboratory. It is in south of France in Toulouse also. My topic of my research is transparent conducting and thermoelectric property of material deposits in thin film. Also, it is for purpose to harvest energy, to convert thermal energy waste into electricity, useful also with transparent property for as a solution for future Windows, future smart Windows.
Is it like energy harvesting?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But the next level or what?
No, just for the moment I work on the material, precursor material like delphosite oxide and also copper iodide. Right. We're just focus on two materials. So, for example, this one, it is a delphosite compound. It is an oxide which is deposited by sputtering radio frequency, and also this one, copper iodide, which is deposited by sputtering, classical sputtering. So,
and do you have results? Like, does it work?
Yeah, just for example, we have just a good result for copper chromium. I will change my
No problem. Is it secret?
No, it's not separate. But this one, for example, it is the interest of this research topic. For example, the transparency in the visible range, and also when we apply temperature gradient, we generate voltage. For example, for our interest, we are just interested about material with copper. Copper is very interesting because we can generate P-type conductivity in multiple cases. For example, when we substitute copper 1+ by copper 2+, or if we have a vacancy of copper 1+. For example, on peut couper maybe.
We can coupe it.
We can just cut.
Yeah.
And after
you
that,
mean while you skip?
Yeah, I will go to the result, for example.
All right. So I cut to me right here. And then
I have a...
cut back.
Voilà, on peut reprendre?
Yeah.
We can start again? For example, this type of thin film have a very good transparency in the visible range, with good electrical conductivity, pretty good for P-type, but the from factor of merit of this type of thin film are pretty good for P-type. Also, Seebeck coefficient, it is have the ability to convert heat into electricity, is specific for this type of material because it is constant, it's not depending on the temperature, which leads interest for temperature sensor. It is a specific material which very clearly adapted for temperature sensor and with very high accuracy. It is good for that. We have just enhanced the property of this type of thin film material. For example, using laser with these properties, we can modify the property of this material. For example, we can have transmittance of similar value, but increase a lot of electrical conductivity. It is very interesting for future application. For example, this type of treatment can increase the factor of merit of this transparent conducting material. It is very innovative way, very low cost, it is very easy, and also we have just very good result for P-type transparent conducting oxide through this new method.
So you call it the Kukro 2?
Kukro?
No.
This one?
Yeah.
It is delphosite. Delphosite is copper chromium oxide.
And is broadly available?
So,
Is it special or hard to find or easy to find?
no, it is pretty easy to deposit. We can prepare with mixture of oxide. For example, chromium oxide, copper oxide, and also magnesium oxide for the doping. But it's pretty easy to prepare a target. After that, we just from the target to obtain a lot of thin film. The preparation of target is long, but when we obtain this target, we can make a lot of film with this target. So,
And you present this here at the Nanotexnology conference.
so
You do this presentation.
yeah, it is my presentation for Nanotexnology 2022 with approach of thin film, because nanotechnology is in this thin film configuration, because the thickness of this film are more or less 100 nanometers thick only. But the surface can be here, for example, this surface is 2 by 2 centimeters square.
And are there a lot of people going in this direction, or are you the only one who figured this out?
No, a lot of people work on this transparent conducting thematic, but the innovation in my case is to use to study the thermoelectric property. The fact to combine both is more rarely reported in the literature, but it's a new way to overtake some difficult for the future. For example, to harvesting some energy from exterior, from energy rest, to in the future reload your battery, for example.
But you were talking about wind,
For wind?
windmills. You're talking about, what are you talking
No,
about?
just heat. Or just heat. If you have a difference of temperature from inside and outside, for example. Inside, if during the winter, inside is hot and outside is very cold. If you have this difference, you can have a thermoelectric effect. Also, it is possible when it is very sunny. From the sunny, we are just heat the thin film and generate also thermal gradient, which can generate voltage.
In terms of the energy harvesting, it's been talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
How much has been done so far? I mean, with like there's a solar and wind, right? But that's big.
Yeah,
But,
of course.
but how much of the dream is real?
Yeah, it is an intermediate dream, that's intermediate duration, because of course to this day is not finalized, optimized, because it is very innovative way, and but it's also have some possibility to combine with a photovoltaic effect, for example. With photovoltaic, thermoelectricity become more interesting.
And do you have some nice conversations here at the Nanotexnology show?
Yes, of course. For example, with graphene, new structure, and a lot of things, because here there is a lot of photovoltaic properties, and of course for me it is interesting to discuss with my colleague about new material, bond structure, to optimize eventually the elaboration route with new wood. For example, this wood with a fast laser annealing, which is more and more used in the laboratory for new material, but also in the industrial field.
And what is the most interesting thing you heard at this conference?
There are a lot of things. For example, today, the eminent professor just talk about graphene, bond structure of graphene with tilting. It is very interesting because it's new property. We can have new electronics. Maybe it will be used for in the future for to couple with other property like this. It's very interesting.
And over there in Toulouse, there's a big connection with the Airbus.
Yeah,
and
of course.
everything?
Oh, yeah. Can I cut, please?
Okay, for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to cut for just to make this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Toulouse, it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, in Toulouse, of course, it is a big city for Airbus company because the final assembly of airplane is given in this city. It is also a pink city. It is a very beautiful city. It's not so far from Paris. It is in the south of France with a good weather. Also, my laboratory is labelized Carnot. It is labelized Carnot. With Montpellier, it is Institut Carnot Chimie Balance 3 Mat. And they have a lot of various fields as a battery, supercapacitor, gas sensor, of course, transparent conducting oxide on thermoelectricity, and a new field like hydrogen. We have a lot of various techniques like sintering techniques, spark plasma sintering, to the position, but also 3D printing on the DLMS. DLMS is use a laser to make a 3D metal, but also new ceramics, on new functional ceramics. I work I work also in this thematic. And also a new route like binder jetting. It is a binder of jetting to make 3D material. It is a laboratory which targets a lot of the elaboration of material, new material for the various functionality.
And many people there?
There is 4 sites. There's a lot of sites in this laboratory. We're about 200 people.
All right.
But this university is very big. It is a second, in terms of number of students, it's the second university in France. There are a lot of students, more or less 30,000 people on this site. It's a very, very, very large city. It is a very large student city.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe to cut some part.
Cut something.
Yeah.
Okay.
You will assemble some.
Yeah, we'll assemble.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
In the chat, I'll put you in a break for a second.
Okay. Thank you.
back, right here. Hi. So please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Vittoria Raffa. I am an associate professor of molecular biology at the University of Pisa.
And what kind of conversations do you have here at the Nanotexnology conference?
This is a really nice experience to be here to introduce to my colleagues the research outcome of a big consortium working in the framework of Hygiene Project. Hygiene Project is a project funded by the European Commission in the framework of FET Open Call. And let's say our research field is try to apply advances in the nanotechnology field to the field of genome editing.
So it's possible to edit the genome?
Yes, of course, and I should say that genome editing, with the discovery of the CRISPR-Cas9, it's a bigger revolution in the biotech. Just to give you some example, I'm pretty sure that in a few months we have gluten-free crops, for example. Okay, so it's a bigger revolution in biotech. However, if you focus on the therapeutic applications, we are far from reach our milestone. It should be to have such molecular scissors for treating every disease. Okay, we still have a problem related to delivery of this machinery for genome editing. And we have also issue related to the safety of the treatment. And what we believe, and this it's related to our research field, is try to use nanotechnology to overpass these issues and these limitations related to the safety and the delivery of the CRISPR-Cas9 machinery.
You said how do you say it?
CRISPR-Cas9. It's a molecular scissor. Okay, you can design this molecular scissor for targeting a specific locus onto the DNA and cleave this locus and have the gene knockout. That's wonderful because it means that you have one tool in your hand that can, let's say, make the difference between health and disease. But which is the major point? The major point is that this system is able to recognize, even at low frequency, also sequences that are similar, not identical to the target. And so this can cause unwanted cut in the human genome. So this is dangerous for the human genome. This is why there are some limitations, some ethical concern in applying this technology to humans.
When you say you were talking about the crops that will be coming in a few months, why is it so much easier to do these crops than do some medicine that just makes everybody healthy?
The difference is that if you cut one unwanted point in the genome, the crops, okay, that's not dangerous for the human health. It should be not. Okay, but if you give this medication in the current version to humans, you couldn't, let's say, predict to have cut not only in the wanted site, but also in a wanted locus. And this could be very dangerous because if you cut the human genome in a wanted, let's say, point, you can have, you can create a disease rather than curing disease. Okay, so what we want to do is to use nanotechnology to create a nanoformulation of this CRISPR-Cas9 system. And for doing this, we use plasmonic nanoparticles. So why plasmonic nanoparticles? Because they allow us to generate a system which is light switchable. And we have a specific application in mind, which is to use this light switchable system, nanoformulation of CRISPR-Cas9, for treating, for example, melanoma lesions.
Is it possible that there's something deeper than just the genome that we don't know about that could be the challenge right here? Or do we know what we're looking at and it's just a question of putting things together in the right way and it starts revolutionizing everything?
I think that the point is that we know very well the human genome, but the human genome is patient specific. And what is important is that you have personalized medicine. So you should focus your treatment to specific patients, to specific lesion, and to have a system that is light switchable, allow us, for example, to give this system as a cream, as a nanoformulation of the lesion, but we can use the laser to, let's say, activate this medication just in the melanoma cancer cells. And so this doesn't affect the healthy cells. So the big dream in nanomedicine is to have a new generation of medication that don't have side effects. Okay, so this is the point. The point is not really the human genome, but to have medication that are targeting to the cancer cells rather than to healthy tissue.
Some people who have a bad case of cancer, they don't really care about the side effects, right? But you still have to take it slow?
Yeah, that's not totally true. I should say that we have a lot of medication for treating cancers, but sometimes the side effects are too strong that you really impair the quality of the life of these patients. This is why these patients sometimes refuse this medication, because it's sad to say, but they say, I want to have the last years or month of my life and to feel, let's say, well, not to have this medication. So side effects are equally important. We should, this is the, let's say, our milestone, should be our milestone to have, in my opinion, a smart medication. For example, one possibility, and this is what we are trying to do for the future, is to give this medication in a
Sorry about that. Please, if you can continue.
I was telling you is that the opportunity that we have thanks to the nanomedicine and the new advance in the nanomedicine field is to generate new medication which are stimuli responsive. What this means? This means that you can give the medication in a form which is not active, so it's not dangerous for the health of the patients. Then you can activate this formulation just in the lesion or in the pathology site. This is what we're trying to do. We want to develop this nanoformulation for genome editing, which is not active. We would apply this as a topical cream onto the lesion. Then we want to use a laser radiation, which is focused and specifically designed to activate this killing formulation just in the cancer cells. This could be an improvement because it's, let's say, key is a formulation specifically targeted to the cells, but without possibly side effect on the healthy cells.
So do we have nanomedicine? Does it exist in a broad scale already? Or is it still something people dream about and it's still trying to reach it, but it's not right
that's not a real dream. I should say that we use plasmonic nanoparticles for several applications. For example, in diagnostic, or for example, for laser ablation. So we have them, and we have them in clinical trial. But now what we want to do is to use them to generate to conjugate them to the enzyme responsible for genome editing, and so try to design both the nanoparticles and the laser radiation in order to generate, trigger the activation of this nanoformulation. So that's something that it's a technology that is mature. Okay, I should say the time is ripe for this technology, but of course it needs still needs validation in the lab before reaching, let's say, scale production or let's say market analysis.
So how far?
IGN project will finish in 2 years and a half, and in this time we expect to validate this technology on a mouse model, which is relevant of the human pathology. So this will be our starting point to seriously think how to use this for exploitation. So to exploit this technology for market application.
And how many targets do you have? Like how many diseases is this going to resolve?
Because of the use of the laser, okay, of course, treating the skin is simple because it's accessible. But in our view, this is not the only application possible. For example, it could be very interesting also to treating eye lesions, again, because the retina is accessible. And so for sure this could be another application. And in the future, why not, we can also think to add application by using lasers that are stereoscopically implanted for treating in deep the tissue. But this is not the first, let's say, application, in my opinion. For validating, for proof of concept studies, in my opinion, it's better to focus on tissue that are accessible, like human eye and like skin, because this simplifies the design of the laser.
How difficult is it to rewrite the genome?
We have a lot to learn, but a lot has been done. You know that Charpentier-Doudna was the winner of the Nobel Prize for this discovery in 2020. And after this discovery, even after the Nobel Prize, they are doing a lot to teach us how to use this amazing tool. So I think that our task is to make a better use of the potential of nanomedicine, and so to merge advance in the nanomedicine to the recent discovery in the field of genome editing to create a new generation of medication. I call this programmable nanomedicine, which means, in my opinion, is to generate nanoformulation that you can activate according to the needs, according to the outcome and the output that you expect. Okay, so I should say that the technology is mature, but what is important is to bring all together and to let's say fuse the outcomes, the big advances that we got in the last year in the two field, to have new solutions, to propose new solutions.
Where are you going to program it? Is it in a lab somewhere, or is it possible that there's a little device that people, the doctors might get, or maybe even at private people's homes that kind of like program something and then you take it?
No, our idea, because you know the laser technology is well used for example, cosmetic application or for laser therapy. So what we have in mind is to redesign this technology that already exists for other applications and customize for our specific application. So for sure we need to educate a new generation of medical doctor because they should handle nanoformulation, laser radiation, but I should say something that we have already in the field for different applications. So
Like
I don't
CD.
see any criticism.
CD burner.
Yeah. So I don't see bigger criticism on that.
So it's to take something that exists, switch it around, and boom, use it for your application.
More or less. That's as you have different components. You have the CRISPR-Cas9 system that already exists. You have the plasmonic nanoparticles that already exist. You have this laser radiation. But it's important that you engineer this system. You should perform a rational engineering of this system because you understand which is the good laser, which power, which intensity, which frequency, pulsed or continuous mode, in order to irradiate these plasmonic nanoparticles. And now these plasmonic nanoparticles react. They generate heating, and this heating should activate our recombinant protein. So something that could be done, and we demonstrated the single pieces is working, but what we should now is that they make the system working. That's the point where we are.
So you say 2.5 years with something,
Yeah.
and then the next step. And what do you think is who do you think are the best in the world?
In this field,
Yeah. Is it at the pizza?
I should say that with this FET Open project, we are the first to propose this light switchable nanoformulation of gene editing. So actually, we don't have competitors on that. Okay, but we have a lot of teams testing different solutions. For example, there are teams working on light switchable proteins. There are not, let's say, the light switchable is not transduced by nanoparticles, but by specific protein domains. It's another approach, but I could say, in my opinion, of course, I'm a big fan of the nanomedicine. Compared to the other approach, nanoformulation has a double advantage because with the nanoformulation, what we observe with this nanoformulation is that the medication, this medication is able to spontaneously cross the cells, to spontaneously reach in the nuclei. So we don't need any delivery system. The other system need the viral vectors to express this machinery. We need to use liposuction, electroporation, and so we don't need any transfection tool because thanks to the nanomedicine, this medicine is able to spontaneously cross the cell membrane and reach the target, which is the DNA into the nuclei. So there are other approaches in the literature, but in my opinion, our approach is superior because of the superior properties of nanomaterials.
How does it do that spontaneously?
We investigated the mechanism involved. So nanoparticles inside are similar to viral particles. So I should say the cells is used to interact with such dimension. And so what happens is that when these nanoparticles approach the cell membrane, they spontaneously internalize it. In this specific case, we found two different mechanisms. One was endocytosis, the other one was passive diffusion. Okay, but the cells have a strong tendency to internalize this nanoformulation. Then the nanoformulation passes in the cell cytoplasm, and then thanks to a nuclear localization domain, which is present into the protein, can pass into the nuclei and identify the target, the genomic target where to hit, to perform the cliff. Okay? But this is thanks to the nanoparticles, because if you provide this enzyme without the nanoparticles, you don't see any ability to cross the cells. So you should perform, for example, viral transduction. But you know, the use of viral vector in humans has been tested for several years in several gene therapy approaches. It raises ethical concern.
So, I'm not an expert in creams, but is it possible that the skin is the biggest organ we have in the body, and if you put some cream, it might target something that's deeper?
No, we have the opposite problem. The skin is a barrier, and so one issue could be related to the penetration depth. Okay, so there is the possibility that the penetration depth of our formulation is not satisfying. If this is going to happen, I don't know. We are still in the testing stage. But if this isn't going to happen, we have an alternative solution which uses transdermal microneedle that you can use like patch to microinject the solution in, let's say, in thickness, which is more or less 1 to 300 thick under the skin.
And this is just a plan, or it's already being done?
No, this is not done by me, but there is a colleague in the University of Pisa, Professor Giuseppe Barillaro, that has several projects testing this microneedle in different projects for different applications. And in my opinion, this could be also a good plan for our technology to, let's say, use these devices that have been developed for different applications to use for our application. So this, let's say this is a plan B, just in case the penetration depth of our nanoformulation is not satisfying. Of course, when you run a European project, if you want to be successful, you should have plan A, plan B, and plan C. You should understand which are your risks and also plan your remediation actions. And this is what we are doing.
And I was doing a video with Professor Timios. He was talking about the teeth. You could maybe have that as a delivery mechanism, or?
Yeah, also the oral application. I mean, what is accessible by light is a target for this medication. What is inside the human body is not accessible. It, let's say, requires a laparoscopic intervention, and we should avoid this stage. But what is accessible by light, it could be one target for our technology.
All right.
I would also say you that in this European project there are 3 companies involved, which are Procremia, Lyonix, M Squared. And why we involved in a, we have also just another academic consortium, which is the Istituto Italiano di Tecnologia. So we put many companies in this small consortium because really we want to, let's say, increase the technology readiness level of our technology.
Can you explain a little bit about those 3 companies? Are they like startups?
One is a medium-sized company. The other are, let's say, spin-off, I guess. I'm not sure about that. I'm sorry with my colleagues if I'm mistaken. But what I can surely say you is a Procremia Surface is a top-level company in material science. So they have this expertise in a standardization of these gold nanoparticles technologies, gold nanoparticles, in order to optimize the surface properties for market application. So they are in charge for the standardization studies for the future marketing of this nanoformulation. Then we have M Squared, which is another company from Scotland. They are, their business is laser. So in our project they are responsible for the design of the optimal laser radiation, which is customized for our specific application. And then there is Lyonix, which is a company in the Netherlands. They are excellent top-level company for microfluidic chip. Why microfluidic chip? Because, let's say, we want to propose not just therapeutic application, but also biotech application. In any lab, in any molecular biology lab, there is the need to perform the genome editing of cells because they are model for studying human disease, and there are many applications there. So what we are building, or what the Lyonix company is building, is a microfluidic chip that integrates with the laser radiation in order to have this disposable system where you can irradiate the cells, edit the cells, and use these cells for bio research.
And here at the Nanotexnology conference, you have some good connections?
Oh, well, I am active in the nanotechnology field since I was, let's say, PhD student. So, of course, there are people, I am still in contact with them, but what I like the most is that there are many new research lines, especially in the bioelectronics, in the plasmonic nanoparticles, in the material science. So I think that conference like nanotechnology could be the optimal chance to have new connection and to bring in our consortium those competences we miss, and that we can make the difference for a future commercial exploitation of this technology. So this is why I decided to be here, because it really is a multidisciplinary forum with experts from different disciplines, and our project is very multidisciplinary. Little Ranch, we have competence in molecular biology and medicine and microfluidics and material science, so we need to have, let's say, a multidisciplinary approach, and for sure here we will find multidisciplinarity.
And without getting into politics, is there a chance Europe will be in front of the USA and China on this segment?
Oh my gosh, that's a difficult question. I can tell you that we protected with the patent that has been granted our technology, so it was granted by IPO. This necessarily means that we can compete with such big field, I should say. We are doing what is in your hands, in our hands. I mean, a patent is technology. To have the company that are able to produce the technology into the consortium since the beginning. So I think that we have the good ingredients to be successful. That's what I hope.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for your time. It was a big
we
pleasure.
Didn't forget to talk about something?
No, I think that's all. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll put you on a break for a second in the chat.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting organized in order to have this General Assembly of NanoNet Research and Innovation Network. It's an international network. Most of you know about this one. We have several general meetings. I think the last one it was, of course, in 2019. Antonio, you have made also one in last year?
Yes.
Okay.
On Thursday.
Sorry?
On Thursday, during the...
Okay. It was the last one in 19. It was the last one last year. I think we draw this one in 2020. Okay. Okay. So every year actually takes place here in Nanotechnology. One of the days, usually Wednesday, like today. This is some of the agenda, let's say, of the day. You received this one earlier, previous days, and possibly today, some of you. Some new people who promotion, new collaborations, participation in new networks, research and innovation project, European or international, and how to, in general, to increase and improve the growth of NanoNet society with new members and new activities, of course. So just to remind to most of you and some others who are new in this era of, in this NanoNet activities, started in 2003 from the Nanotechnology Lab in Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. Initially, it was to coordinate activities within the university, if it was possible in the area, and of course, after all these years, almost 20 years, now you have 20 years exactly, this NanoNet activities extended from the area to the country and Europe, and through these conferences and through these activities around the Nanotechnology Lab, around the other, let's say, association like HOPE, came to, let's say, collaborations and attract members from all over the world, especially during this conference. So nowadays, you suppose we are somewhere 670 to 680, 90 members. And the scope, of course, is to bring together, from the very beginning to bring together people working in the area of nanotechnologies and nanobiotechnologies. In academia, research, industry, in hospitals, with consulting, working together with consulting companies, working together with companies which exploit the results of research, let's say, and of course to try to organize activities to inform local people, governments, and all policymakers about these technologies, about the results, about the solutions. So the organization, it's you keep the organization almost let's say unchanged during the years, but simply you add something, new things, new wording, let's say, in the legal, ethic, and health safety. This is the horizontal clusters, and this is the vertical clusters. Few things change during the years. Maybe sometimes you may change something more here, or you have more, let's say, vertical clusters. And this, in order to be done, you expect your ideas. And this meeting is the proper place to hear new ideas, even about the clusters, about the interest, about how to renew all these organizations. But this gives us the opportunity, people who work in the field, depending on the vertical or this horizontal cluster, to have one classification. If you go to change, it will change many things. So you usually expect to see if there exists some new era. For example, if you extend, for example, nanobiomedicine with bioelectronics. Also, you have made in 2019, I think this is from 2019, simply today you have one new responsible, Elise. He used to come to this nanotechnology meeting the last 10 years, Elise, or something. Sorry?
10 years, yeah.
10 years almost, yes. I think it was 2011 or 12 first time. So it's almost 12 years, and she will be the proper person in order to be responsible for this, let's say, cluster with her ideas. And this is the people working or are responsible. And starting from the first one, Yannis also is responsible for South America. You see later, okay, things changed since 19 dramatically, and the connections also stop, especially with Asia, but even with North Asia. Now the last year and this year open, of course, in Europe and some connection from United States. You can see during the days also people from United States, but people from Asia is missing, and people from Brazil, for example, are also missing. But nevertheless, Yannis is also responsible for there, but other people, some of the people that now, of course, are during this time, which are responsible, Arigiris Askarakis, Panos Patsalas, now are in other, let's say, workshops, presenters, so they're here, but more or less. Yannis Kalits also here, nano energy, and also this area, especially for energy and for environment, and give more attention to the area. I don't know if you, it's not here, but deals with the two nanotechnology. Nanonet, and more or less again, this the version is oldest version. I corrected a few minutes ago, but still it's some numbers is older, but nevertheless. Members comes mostly from Europe, are more than 500 members from Europe, and then around 50 to 60 is from United States, Asia from this area, and some others from other overseas areas. But you can see also that comes mostly from academia research, some 160, 170 companies, consulting companies, and 10 to 13 hospitals. The subject are, of course, more or less, I mentioned what is the vision of this nanonet, what is the mission, what do you want to, and what you offer, and of course, what are the work, the deliverables, or the work we have to do. Of course, there is no membership and for good and for bad. For good, gave some continuation the last 20 5 years ago from European Commission. They wonder how you succeeded to continue 20 years almost one organization, and then they try to interview why, how. Usually the associations or this kind of cluster, they have life of 3, 4, 5 years, which is almost the life of funding from some organization, usually public. And how happened this one? We know more. You know also that some money, this partner, even if you account 100 euros per year, you will spend effort to get money than the real value. So you have to find another way. And we find another way, okay? And of course, the services, when you, the services you provide, it's less than the services you provide when you paid. So you have a manager here to keep all going and try to give some information, some services, and find a solution through, let's say, collaborations, through collaboration in European projects, international projects, national projects, supporting this event of nanotechnology. It's more free, no payment, but you have some job to do. Objectives, of course, to coordinate activities, to inform the members I referred already, to promote any kind of partnership, mobility, etc., to identify the challenges and solutions and disseminate, exploit, and to facilitate and promote. Of course, it's clear that during the years, the beginning, the companies, we was a few in this cluster, in this network, but with the time, since you have a lot of applications, the companies come one after the other, and today you have, as I mentioned earlier, around 170, and the new members, it's I would say mostly related to new companies during the last few years, and less are people from academia, labs, and other associations. So this is the numbers and statistics, but I will move faster. A lot is this HOPEA is one organization. Of course, it's Hellenic Organic Printing Electronic Association, established in 2011-2012. The good thing to this is, first of all, it printed electronics are related to organic semiconductors. The good thing is that even at this national Hellenic Greek association, connected very early with other associations like the AFELIM, the France, the German, the Organic Electronic Saxony, Japan, Canadian, Korea, Chinese, and something, of course, Nanonet connected with this. So, second, Germany has two associations now, changed name and integrated in microelectronics in the same region of North Westphalia. But bring together all other associations and help Nanonet to come together or to extend, especially in relation with companies, because this association refers to HOPEA and the others refer to companies in this new era of organic semiconductors. Or applications comes from this era. So this helps a lot, and of course it's independent and survived during the years, and give us also the opportunity to learn how to get money for funding, for example, the European Commission. Of course, this involves this association master degrees and co-organize together with HOPEA these events of nanotechnology. Members of, I have to say, the members of Nanonet also are members of societies, international committees, scientific committees in these three international conferences, conference in the schools, or some of them, they are teachers, lecturers, some, let's say, responsibilities of some of these people of NanoNet when meet here in this conference, either to serve giving this lecture, to help, or to advise in the conferences the scientific new participants, new people coming in the field, especially young people, because you don't know the young people. So, nevertheless, this is the organization. This is the way that we succeed year by year. And of course, also support the NanoNet together with HOPEA and the lab support another activity. And this activity is related to another conference take place every year in Athens, not in Thessaloniki, in October every year. This October will be either 10th of 17th of October. And all together, each of them supports the other. Sorry? Okay. How work? They work in collaboration in trying to submit proposals. And here are some of the proposals submitted from the members of this NanoNet network during the years. Some European, but also some national, if you talk about national activities. This is year by year. So here inside of these members, for example, are 16 members in this Smartronics. It was a project, of course, ended 5 years ago. You can see several members which are members of NanoNet, or are members of HOPEA, or are members of these associations I mentioned earlier, coming from Germany or France. So if I continue, you will see many members depending of, okay, this is for example for nanomedicine, this is for batteries, or for manufacturing. So many partners, these are all ended, but we have some already. You can notice here that HOPEA participate in these activities. Some other new, like the around partners of this let me see if okay, also the Nanomecomus is another project coordinated by this is the way of working and trying to extend activities, and at the same time to gain knowledge, increase his portfolio and services. So the opportunities now is, for example, the new funding cooperation opportunities through the Research Innovation Project, European projects within Europe, Horizon Europe. 21, 27 already 2 calls, 1.5 they finish. You are almost in the end of the second year, 2022 to 2023, but the next coming soon, they will announce in a few days the final, let's say, contents of calls for 2022 to 2023. especially in cluster 4, which is related to digital industry in Spain. For example, there is some calls like, or for cluster 5, which is related to climate and energy and mobility. There are some specific calls here, but of course there are much more which are related to our subjects, deals with NanoNet. Now, within our activities, of course, it's all of us to find some ways to understand where things are going, or much better. For example, what are some challenges where our technologies can offer some solutions. And for example, agrivoltaics is a new era which are developing more than 40% year by year. And this gain our attention because energy, lighting, for example, sensors, biosensors play an important factor in this era of agrivoltaics. What is agrivoltaics? Agrivoltaics means agriculture plus voltaics, plus energy, renewable energy. So if you bring together these two, you understand that you have this new era of agrivoltaics, this new terminology. In literature, you will find this one as agrivoltaics by 95 to 96% of publications. Others refer to a bit different way, but nevertheless, the major terminology today is agrivoltaics, and agrivoltaics, renewable energy, and mean photovoltaics. So this is the meaning of this special workshop we will decide to have next day, tomorrow afternoon, even in a session. And you hope to have a longer activity during the session the next year, at least to have a workshop of one day, together with the workshop in ISFOE, which is related to organic photovoltaic and perovskite photovoltaics. But also you are planning to have a half a day or even a 1 day conference, an exhibition in Athens next October. So, nevertheless, tomorrow we bring to your attention this conference where you will introduce some of main activities and actions. I think it's quite important for this audience because all the technologies, especially those related to flagship or organic electronics, are related with energy, lighting, which is necessary for extension of the photosynthesis, especially in areas where they have dark days, short days, while the energy needed every day, especially in summer, in places where we have a lot of light, high sunshine areas with high temperatures, or for areas where we have cool weather. In any case, energy needed every time, every minute in order to have a smart, let's say, greenhouse, a hydroponic greenhouse. And this is the subject of this activity, and you think that you will have next year a huge activity and solutions and relations, because related not only to energy, not only to light, but also to land, because you want to have to use the same land for several reasons, not only for production, not only for energy, but also to reduce water, to increase the food, etc., to reduce the CO2 emissions, etc. So this was, I mentioned earlier, and I referred to Professor Michelis, that he was responsible also from Mexico and South America, South, yes, America. So you, after 19, you stop activities actually with some areas, especially with areas of Korea, Japan, China. Okay, you see here, difficult to continue these activities, especially we think, many think people that for many years you have will reduce activities with and collaborations and traveling in China especially. So you want to see how these things will be extended. So that's all for me. And you may return back to main agenda. And, it's open actually to discuss some details and to hear you some comments on that or to add something, maybe something who you don't know or you didn't realize. The person is this one. Please remember or ask them because you want to see these people to work to this direction. So this is the agenda. Of course, this is my presentation. Try to present all things, not only for old members, but newcomers or people who may be interested to participate. And now you have some general open discussion. Please take the opportunity to comment first of all, and second to give your ideas. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. So first, I personally can that I have, thanks to you, and the marvelous team you put together, the Florence and everybody, you've made a marvelous. And you've really assisted in the development of nanotechnology in an amazing way. The first time that I came to this conference, you told me that nanotechnology could bring life to the economy of Greece and that it could change Greece. And you have been true to that mission. And the things that we see here are beautiful, beautiful fruits of the things that you have planted. And I'm so proud to know you. So I want to be very clear about that before I say anything else, because this field is growing rapidly, and you have been instrumental in making that happen, and making it happen in Greece, which might otherwise be an improbable place for it. And I think that's really marvelous. It's really, really, really cool. So what I was looking at in this list is there's the sort of almost random events of people having funding for projects, and as you say, they last a few years, and then they don't last nearly as long. This group has lasted a long time. I am interested in examining the challenges and the possible solutions. And I am interested in taking our legal, safety and health and ethics group and leading, spearheading an effort to bring together information from what has been accomplished in order to really look at what the challenges have been and how the things we've accomplished could offer solutions. As you know, I believe nanotechnology can solve most problems if we think about it really carefully and if we weigh the costs and benefits. I would like to offer for this, first of all, I had some very good luck this year. You know that I'm now at Georgetown University in the Global Health Law program, and I was invited to speak in the embassy in Haiti in Washington because last year I had invited 6 Haitians to the Safer Nano program. And on scholarship, I got them scholarships. The European Scientific Institute was somewhat hesitant about whether they could have connectivity and meet their standards. And they did very well, and the ambassador congratulated me personally and wrote a letter to the Institute thanking them and said to me, "Ma maison c'est chez vous," and he offered to me the Embassy of Haiti as a venue for any conference I would like on technology. And what I'm thinking is, because we don't have many French-speaking affiliates, and we don't have all that many Caribbean and that area, and I do have very strong contacts in Brazil. You know, I've been a few times to Brazil for the McKinsey School of Law program in nanotechnology. Why don't we think very seriously about this patch of bringing together what we've done, looking back retrospective, but using it to look forward, to protect posterity, and to take these things that we've done and craft solutions. We have a new venue that is open to us because the ambassador, I believe, was quite sincere, because he spent a great deal of time with me asking a lot of questions. And let's do something with this. It won't cost a lot of money because we have the venue. We have marvelous technology such as NIC and AlphaView, so we don't need to ship everybody to Washington or Haiti or whatever. We can bring the Brazilian group from McKinsey, and we can bring in also the Center for Biomedical Law in Portugal, who you know doesn't have this kind of nano staffing, but does have medicine and public health in the University of Coimbra Legal Law School. And let's do this. Let's bring together these people and ask these questions that are very important. They may not be hard questions, but we haven't asked them yet. And let's see what solutions we can come up with, making double duty of what we already own.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
And I'm sorry I talked so long, but there's a lot of people that we can bring into this.
Thank you. Who else has a new income here, okay?